We know record keeping is important in all aspects of legal work, especially when it comes to resolving legal matters. Keeping a journal, I'm assuming, might be important in divorce proceedings, just to keep track of disagreements or agreements for that matter. How important is it to keep a record of every development, every argument that happens between two people throughout this process?
I encourage people to keep a record, but I encourage them not only to write down their thoughts, because that'll help refresh their recollection and help us prepare for trial. But if there's documents that can support what they're saying, then they need to get those as well. And those could be anything from doctor's records, prescriptions, to even something like notes from school. All those records, especially if they come from a source outside of the parties, can be used to take it from a he said, she said case to something where there's some documentation.
Something I've wondered, if a couple signs a prenuptial agreement, I'm assuming that is as good as law when the divorce comes around, if it does. Is there ever a time when couples say, I know we signed that 20 years ago, let's say, but we're willing to budge? One party might be willing to budge on some things that they agreed to. I know people with assets often want a prenuptial agreement before they get married, but do you find that when those come into play in a divorce case, that that's pretty much the letter of the law for the proceeding?
It really depends on the proceeding, and it depends on what's happened between the signing of the prenuptial agreement and the divorce. The more that a family is done as a family, the less effective a prenuptial is going to be. So you've bought new houses, you've switched properties, you've moved accounts. All of that's going to make a prenuptial harder to enforce. Now, if you largely live separately and don't combine finances, a prenuptial can be a very effective way of not arguing about it when you get divorced.